This is Revelation 6 and 6, the NLT. It says, "And I heard a voice from among the four living beings say, a loaf of wheat bread or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay. And don't waste the olive oil and wine." All right, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Kakadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Those who rule well, who I learned this truth from. All right, salutation to the brothers stiffly pushing this one truth in all sincerity and diligence. All right, risking both your lives and freedoms to do so. And shalom to the rest of the elect as we all await the second exodus coming quickly by the hands of Lord Yahweh Shah. This is your brother Kagabar. Okay, I'll be doing another lesson going into the food insecurities, okay, the famines, all right, and ultimately how, this economic crisis is engineered to gear people towards taking that MOTB. Okay, there's no coincidence that everybody's pretty much feeling the squeeze. All right, and people are feeling these economic burdens. Reaching all-time high, man. All right, and I want to go into this article. Okay, that says 86% of Americans feel stressed about the cost of groceries. Okay, 86% of Americans feel stressed about the cost of groceries. Okay, and I looked it up. I just went to Google and typed in how many Americans are stressed, about groceries, and it broke it down with the AI overview. It says a majority of Americans are stressed about the cost of groceries. A recent AP NORC poll found 53% of Americans say grocery costs are a major source of stress. Okay, so that's pretty much half of the people, walking around here who have to pay for groceries, consider them a major source of stress, while an additional 33% say they are a minor source of stress. This means that around 86% of Americans are experiencing some level of stress related to the cost of groceries. Okay, only 14% of those surveyed reported that grocery costs were not a source of stress. So majority of the people walking around, okay, are stressed out about the cost of these goods, man. Okay, the cost of this food. Okay, because the prices keep going up, and Trump, all right, is I believe he's back, with those tariffs. Okay, they've kind of been quiet about it, but I've seen, matter of fact, I've seen articles, begin to pop up once more dealing with Trump and these tariffs, man. Look, see, and I just typed in Trump's tariffs, okay, and the top stories. All right, it says inflation holds steady, but Trump's tariffs are boosting some prices. It says U.S. prices continue to rise in July as Trump's tariffs impact consumer costs. So, in other words, prices are still going up, and these tariffs, okay, are ultimately still in play. Okay, these things are still in play. Okay, despite him putting pauses on them. All right, this thing is still happening because the Lord, all right, warned us that this was going to take place, man. That it would get to the point to where we would deal with hyperinflation, man. Okay, economic collapse. Economic burdens. To really, like I said, it's going to get to the point to where they're going to shift people into the hope that the only way out is to take that MOTB. Okay, and it may start with you, getting a digital ID, because that's what everything is linked to. Okay, it's going to be linked to, and that's how you're going to access your bank. Okay, and they may give you a certain amount of cryptos or stable coins, when you sign up for that. And this is how they're gonna sell it, man. We're not ignorant of how this devil moves, but this is just going and showing you the signs of the times, man. So it says 86% of Americans feel stressed about the cost of groceries. So how do we help these people out? Which really they don't give a damn, but just like with the stimulus checks, they're gonna try to act like they coming to help you, but you're going to have to, like I said, you're going to have to adopt this new system. This is what all roads is leading to, man. This is engineered. It's no coincidence, all right, because they about to incentivize you people to take the chip, for that to be your way out of this, the economic woes we all dealing with, man. We all dealing with, all right. You know what I'm saying? It says, why are social media platforms filled with videos of Americans complaining about grocery prices right now? Needless to say, those videos must be striking a chord because some of them are receiving millions of views. Government bureaucrats are telling us that the cost of food is only going up a few percentage points per year, but we can all see that is a load of nonsense. And this is an opinion piece, but nonetheless, this is true. Okay, we all feel it. Okay, it says a trip to the grocery store has become an enormous expense, and this is especially true if you have kids to feed. Yeah, man. It says, as I wrote about earlier this month, one survey found that in 25% of U.S. households, at least one person is skipping meals so that there will be enough money to pay the bills. And this goes into the famine, man. Okay, because when you deal with a siege, the enemy surrounds the place, from the outside and cuts off, resources from being able to come in. And when you deal with the tariffs, all right, and the trade wars Trump has pretty much initiated, on top of the fact, this place is at odds with all of these nations around the world. Well, real soon, okay, people are going to realize the effects of that, man. And, the storehouses and the grocery stores not having supplies to sustain the country, man. Okay, scriptures speak about the full storehouses suddenly being found empty in 2nd Ezra 6 and 22, man. See, so that famine is also something that people are going to have to deal with. Okay, not only is the prices going up, well, they're going to skyrocket when you deal with a shortage. When you deal with a shortage, and we had a lot of scares. When you deal with the port workers, and the whole automation shit. They was threatening to go on strike, which would have fucked up the supply chain, and many things that's going to disrupt this supply chain is going to cause this famine to manifest completely, man. You see, so it's getting bad, all right. And they said one survey found that in 25% of U.S. households, at least one person is skipping meals so that there will be enough money to pay the bills. Yeah, okay, because people are having to make decisions, okay. Choosing to, am I going to be able to pay my Evergy bill this month, or eat this extra meal or people ain't even, of course, hey, it's to the point to really where, you fucking around and order takeout may be the cost of a fucking grocery run, man, or maybe the cost of a one night's dinner, it's bad. All right. But we know that these are all signs the Lord, okay, is done with this place, man. Okay, 86%. That's damn near everybody walking around for the most part. All right. Matthew 24:7, it says, for nation shall rise against nation. All right, and we're seeing that. And kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences. Okay, and you got that new outbreak in China. I forgot what it's called. But there's another new outbreak in China. Okay, that's a pestilence, man. It says in earthquakes, which, we just had a magnitude 6 and forgot where exactly it was, but you have all these earthquakes everywhere. Okay, so all of this is happening, man. We're at the end of this shit. It says in diverse places, okay, but touching on that because of the famine, okay, and like I say, this, a day's wage for a loaf of bread, for staples, butter, eggs, bread, water. I mean, it's like you go to the store for a simple little grocery run, maybe for a meal or two, and you easily spending $50, man. Like when I go out, I'm already anticipating to spend at least drop a 50 ball, man. Because that's just what it is, man. These prices have gotten so high that people skipping meals and trying to figure out, workarounds, man. And, it's going to cause some people to fucking just crash out, but that's why Esau's going to come in and, no man's going to be able to buy or sell. You ain't going to be able to buy no food and shit real soon if you don't accept this man's, system. Okay. So they putting a squeeze on people to force you into, really bowing down. Right. Okay. Because this is all about design, man. Like Trump with these tariffs and shit and the trade wars and, going to war with these other countries and, being at odds with their allies, man, that's all going to backfire on this place because nothing, is really made here anymore. So everything has to get imported. Well, if you fighting with fucking everybody on the planet, well, I mean, what do you expect, man? All right, they're just gonna cut your ass off. Now, this is Revelation 13. We gotta grab this because this is what all this is leading to, man. Revelation 13, and see what it say in the NLT. We'll just get it in the KJV. This is Revelation 13 and 16. It says, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And the mark of the beast is becoming mainstream now. Okay, at this point, it really shouldn't be a mystery. You could type in mark of the beast and matter of fact, it'll pull shit up, man. Okay, I think I seen a video down here. Yeah, the Amazon One technology, the Amazon Go, Elon Musk with Neuralink. Okay, they pretty much just tell you at this point, because now they got to get to the point to where they push it, mainstream, and they get people excited to adopt that technology, man. And I grabbed that because he's going to cause all to take it, all right, to where you're going to ultimately be ostracized, excluded from society in basic things like buying food, okay, without it. Okay, and like we say, it's starting off with the digital ID, okay, and you having a digital ID, which is going to be your access to the internet, the apps, your banking, your healthcare. It's going to be your access to all of that, okay? And the goal is to put an electronic device, a chip inside of you, man, that's going to go ahead and pretty much house all of that information, okay? And that's where we're at, all right? This is all, means for Esau to implement his beast system, okay, to give you, like I said, they may give you some cryptos or some stable coins because you download, because you adopted the digital ID, and then they're going to get to the point where they say, you know what, we got to go ahead and start putting this device inside of people. That way, you can't be off the grid, if you will. You can't escape, because it's a digital prison that is pretty much set up, and they're going to go ahead and begin to brand you as their cattle, okay? And a lot of people are going to take it because of the economic woes, because they're going to want to eat. Because of these things like this, people are going to opt in, man, okay? We can close out after this. This is give me one moment. This is Job chapter 5. Look, verify you are human. See, I go on the Bible app and it said it's verifying I'm human. Okay, all that's gonna lead to is you have to have a digital ID to access this shit, man. We're here. But this is Jeremiah 5 and 19. It says, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Verse 20, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Okay, and I grabbed that because the scriptures say many people are going to perish of famine in these days. So the Lord is going to preserve the elect by various supernatural means, man. Okay, like you seen with Elijah, Elijah and the widow, the raven, the angel, all were means whereby the Lord set up to bring and sustain Elijah with food. I believe with the angel, he ate the meat and it sustained him for, I want to say 40 days, man. Okay. And then with the widow, okay, the barrel of food didn't diminish. Okay. Pretty much it stayed full. Okay. That's supernatural things, man. That's what the Lord's going to do to keep us. All right. So we have nothing to worry about. But I'm going to end it off there. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh Bashem Shah. Detail, wah, blah, blah, blah. Shalom.